up. But then again, yeah, I will do my best. So don't worry.
Yeah, at any time, man. If you guys need me to, even my engineers tell me the same thing, is that I talk too fast for them. I do stuff too fast for them. Anytime if you need me to slow down, you just mention it to me. If you need me to go back over something, just mention it to me. Say, hey, can you go back over that? Or just tell me, hey, can you slow down a little bit? I'm not really following you, so.
No, I mean, it's okay. It was just yeah. Plus the resolution, which I think it's my computer, which is what 6-7 years old. I just see the graphics. I don't see really like the letters. But it's my problem more than yours.
Right.
But overall, the lessons are great, and I think I can advance quite a lot by just on my own. So it's cool.
So let's go ahead and start this one. I'll probably have a couple more people jump in because this one was supposed to be 9:30, and yeah, it's 9:30 on the dot. So, what do you guys want to go over? What do you want to go over this time? What could I show you this time that you want to see?
Where I got now was that I have some like the flow of the info. Then it goes through Zapier to Google Sheet, and then actually, I don't know how to get back and how to actually follow in again in the questions and options in the normal workflow. If you understand what I mean.
So you're sending some data. You're sending some data out to some Google Sheet, right? Is what you're saying. You got some data going out to some.
Yeah. Well, I'm off. Somebody writes a brief. It goes to Google Sheet, and then the brief goes to some other person, and then I want to ask the other person if the person likes it or not. This will be back in the money chat, but I don't know how to actually plug this the follow-up question.
So is the other person the other person that you're sending out the question to, is that person subscribed to your bot, and is he
Yes.
a bot subscriber? Okay.
Well, it's like it's two sides. One side is a client, one side is a supplier, and then the client sends a brief. It goes to the Google Sheets. It goes to the supplier, and then the supplier should say, "I like it" or "No, I don't like it." So this, so the guy would like to follow up then and work with it in the flow, if this is possible. But I don't know how, because I don't know where to start the flow, following up what was received from Google Sheets.
Yeah, so there's a few ways to do that. You have both the supplier and the buyer. You have them in the same bot, or are they in two different bots?
No, it's the same bot, but they go different routes. Meaning that the supplier choose themselves that they will be sending briefs, and the suppliers is just receiving the briefs. So when they don't see, or maybe it can be two different bots. Maybe what you say, but then it will be difficult, because I thought it will be in some jobs, in some portal for jobs, so that then you can have only one bot plugged in. Yeah, you can't have two bots. Or can you have two bots?
Yeah, you can have as many bots as you want, and the bots can even talk to each other and talk to each other's subscribers if you want. So I've got a good example. I've got a good example I can show you if you look here. Or not there. If you look here in my keywords, let's see. See this check other bot?
Yeah.
So if I come here and say check other bot, then what that's going to do is actually going to go in and start some actual process and look to see on my other bot. Do you see right here? I just got this new message that just said, I just found you from my other bot.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Here.
So this is clear, but I thought that you can only have one bot, like if you design the bot in ManyChat. So how would you connect two bots to the same page?
Well, you can connect two bots to the same page, but if you connect two bots to the same page, you're really gonna be shooting yourself in your foot if it's on the same page, because the bots are going to end up eventually clashing with each other. But then essentially you're not going to be segmenting your users that way anyways, because when somebody actually comes in, they're going to essentially be being subscribed to both bots. So you really don't want to have two bots on the same page, but you could have two different Facebook pages and have one Facebook page for your suppliers, one Facebook page for the actual buyers, and you can segment them that way. And then you can see how I did this here, where this is a bot on one page, and you go in and send a message here on this page, and he goes and actually looks you up on this complete other page in this other bot and sends you a message through this other bot. So you could essentially do the exact same thing, something very similar. But we can do what you want. We can do what you're wanting, and we can do what you're wanting in your current bot.
No.
How you have it right now.
I can't do, I noticed that you can actually juggle between the bots. I mean, I can't do this because I decided to hook on the existing page, which is like thousands of users, and there is no way to actually move them to the two separate.
Yeah, so we can do it in your same bot. Okay, so we can do it in the bot that you have right now. So to do that, what I need to do is get a little bit of an ideal of what you're actually doing. So I know you said something for a job portal. So I'm just going to call this content job portal. I need to get a little bit of an idea what you're doing. It sounded like what you were doing is you're asking some questions from your user, right? You're asking your user some questions.
It's very simple. It's a page which is about advertising, and there are half of the people are clients, say, and half of the people are suppliers. So instead of them looking at the posts on the page, I thought that the supplier can actually send the client can send a request to the bot, and then the bot sends it to everybody who subscribed to the bot as a copywriter, say, you know.
Yeah. So that you could totally do.
Yes, but then okay. So this I got to this phase. But then I want to, because this say client will send it, I will store it in the Google Sheet, and then it will distribute it to everybody who sign up as a copywriter, say. But then I want to follow with the copywriters, asking them if they like the job or not, so I can inform the client who will be providing them info. And that's where I got lost.
Okay.
Meaning that, I mean, I can distribute to all the copywriters the brief from this one client, but I don't know how to then follow up.
Well, that follow-up seems like you could have that follow-up. You could have that follow-up as just a piece of content. All right. So the only issue that you're going to actually have is the only issue that you have right now is that these guys don't actually let you send out a broadcast message through Zapier. You can only send out one message. So your issue is going to be here, and there's a way around it. It's just I don't like the way around it. So are you fine with doing the broadcast in ManyChat to your copywriters?
The broadcast is like sending them once a day, say, some message, yeah?
Correct.
What do you mean by broadcast?
Correct.
Yes and no. Yes, meaning if that's the only way, why not? No is that I thought that if the client will submit it in the morning, then it would have to wait for the next day to send it to the copywriters, yeah?
Well, if you do a broadcast, you can do a new broadcast as soon as
it arrives.
Yeah, as soon as it arrives. I mean, you can do a broadcast. They send you some information. You just go in and create your broadcast. Now, the broadcast can't be automated, unfortunately, so you're not going to be able to actually go in and automate the broadcast. It's a feature that I've asked for in ManyChat. I've asked them already if they can go in and extend their Zapier integration so that we could actually create a broadcast and schedule a broadcast from Zapier. But right now it's just not possible. Right now in Zapier, you can only go in and send a message to one user, and that's it. So there is a workaround for a broadcast, obviously. So the workaround for the broadcast would be that uploaded. So the workaround for the broadcast would be what you would do. Let's say you want to broadcast out to copywriters. Okay. So let's see if we can just do this. All right. So let's say you want to broadcast out to copywriters. All right. So what you're going to do is inside ManyChat, what you're going to do is you're going to, let's say you would have some flow, you would have some essential flow that is going to get a user's position. Okay. That's what this P is going to be. They're going to get a user's position. So let's say we have options where we can say, hey, this dude is an engineer. This dude is a copywriter. This guy is a lawyer. This guy is a lawyer, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Yeah. So what we could do is go in, and so these would all have to actually be Google Sheets. But what we could do is go in, and whenever somebody tells us he's a lawyer, we could have these corresponding Google Sheets, right? We have these.
That's what I have. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have a corresponding Google Sheet for a lawyer, for a copywriter, for an engineer. All right. So whenever we get these guys coming in and saying, hey, I'm a lawyer, we push them to this Google Sheet. Okay. Now, meanwhile, over here, you've got some.
I see something different. I've seen on screen some chart about some 52, 82 cents. Did you on the screen?
On the screen, you should be seeing me drawing.
It's something about it's from ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
It's a page from ClickFunnels.
You're seeing ClickFunnels right now. You're not seeing me drawing.
It's johnvaughn.io. A ClickFunnels page.
Oh well, let's look at what my share is. So. Let me just check.
Yeah, we see drawing now.
Okay, so now you actually see the drawing. So essentially what you would have is, what you'd have, like I said, you'd have these 3 different spreadsheets. Okay. And then you could go in and, now, and this also wouldn't be automated. This is a bad thing. This also wouldn't be automated, and I can't think of any workaround, because the only way I found out that you can actually, if you want to do a broadcast from ManyChat through Zapier, then what you need is you need at least a spreadsheet that looks like this. Okay. Where you got a ManyChat ID here, and here you just got some random value, whatever value that you want there. And here what you could do is you could get people coming through ManyChat and just post in their ManyChat IDs here. And then this random value, whenever you want to broadcast out to these guys, you just go in and you update these random values. Now, whenever this random value gets updated, you can have a zap that says, hey, when this guy gets updated, then grab this guy and do something. So now if you just went through Google Sheets real quick and just updated these values, you can do that in a matter of seconds. Just update these values, then it would trigger all these zaps to actually happen, which would actually simulate a broadcast through ManyChat, since they don't allow for broadcast right now. So that's the only way I found out that you could actually do a broadcast.
Okay.
But that's not that's not an elegant, that's not an elegant solution. Obviously, that's not a real elegant solution. So here what we wanted to, and what you could do is, so you're going to ask a user for, some input. You're actually going to tag them what they are, and then you're going to get some advertisement from some third party, and they're going to tell you who that needs to go to, and it needs to go to some copywriters. So you would go into ManyChat, you would create a broadcast to target to all your copywriters. You're going to send them that content, and where you're stuck right now is to figure out how to automatically follow up with them to see if they liked the job or anything, right?
Yeah.
So, so we could engineer this a couple ways. You're going to have to go in and do the broadcast. You're going to have to give the content. All right. So for the follow-up though, you want to follow up with everybody. How long afterwards do you want to follow up?
No, well, basically the broadcast or not broadcast, something's going to be sent to them from the Google Sheet, yeah, which I know how to do through the Zap.
Right. But you don't want to do it through it's going to be hard for you to do it through the Google Sheet, like I said, because you can only send out a message to an individual person through the Google Sheet. You can't send out a message to multiple people through a Google Sheet, because Zapier won't let you tag, say, hey, anybody that, and Zapier won't let you do a broadcast through ManyChat. So you can't do a broadcast through ManyChat. You can only do a single message to a single user. I mean, you could do multiple messages, but what your Zap would look ridiculous, because look, here you can go in, this step right here, we'll choose ManyChat for our action, and you can see what they allow us to do. Okay, so they've got some search fields where we can do some search fields, but then all they allow us to do is subscribe a user to a sequence, send a text message to a user, tag a user, unsubscribe a user from a sequence, set a custom field, remove a tag, or send a custom piece of content to a user, which is also almost like a text message. It's just a flow that you're sending to a user. So they do not allow us to do any type of broadcast where we can send something out to more than one user. So if we wanted to send something out to more than one user, then we need to go in here. We need to add another ManyChat and then add another user. So now if we want to send out a message to 100 users, then it's going to look like we're going to have 101 steps in our Zap, because we have to add one step for everybody.
No, it's nonsense. So basically what you say, it doesn't go through the Google. If I store all the copywriters in one Google Sheet, as you suggested with the lawyers and everything, it means that ManyChat doesn't go through all the 200 of copywriters in a Google Sheet and doesn't send them the same message which I selected.
Correct. So if you wanted to do that, I could think of a way to actually engineer that. But if you wanted to do that, we need multiple sheets. So if you wanted to do that, what that would look like, is we would have some Google Sheet like this. We would have a ManyChat. We would have a ManyChat ID. All right. This would be an MC ID, and this would be a random value. Okay. So here we're going to load all our ManyChat IDs here, And then here to do a broadcast quickly, what we would do is, let's say this value is a 1 or whatever this value is. We don't care what this value is. So we just are going to change this value, and then we're going to drag it down to everybody that we want to broadcast out. Now, once I did that, I can have a Zapier integration that listens to this to whenever it's updated. Now, whenever it's updated, it can send out a broadcast. Okay. So look, and I'll just I'll show you what I mean there. Okay. So here, let's say, first off, you guys that are on this training, let's go in and actually do this. So we're going to do this mini chat IDs for demo. So now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go into a new piece of content and demo get MC IDs to spreadsheet. So I'm going to create this, and then I'm going to go to flow builder, and then I'm going to go in and perform an action, which will actually be my first step. And then I'll just do this. And then what I'm going to do is trigger a zap. And I'm going to call this send MC ID to sheet. So now I'm just going to send out this message here. And I'm pretty sure that's all I actually need here. I don't need anything else here. All right. So I'm going to publish this. And then now what I'm actually going to do is create this zap real quick. So I'm going to create this zap. I'm going to choose an action here. And this is, oh, I'm not actually going to do that. Let's delete this guy. And let's delete this guy. And now let's choose this guy. Let's choose this. New trigger zap event happens. Oh, shit. Hey, will you get me a towel, please? So now I'm going to do this. Thank you. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just do something. This is just so that we can actually test this. And now I'm going to put this to Google Sheets. And I'm going to create a new spreadsheet row. And I'm going to save and continue here. We're going to use this guy. And then we're going to do that. And that's pretty much all we need for now. That's all I want right now in that zap. So I'll tell you guys, like I always tell you, I really recommend that whenever you're doing this, whatever you trigger this zap here, whatever you call this, that you also call this, and you tell yourself what bot you're using if you have multiple bots. That way you can easily go back and find this guy. If you need to find this guy, it will save you a lot of time. So now that that's done, now what I want to do real quick is I've got this guy done. So what I actually want to do is go to a growth tool. I want to create some messenger ref URL. I want to edit this opt-in sequence. And I want to go to this flow builder. and then go to this guy that I've just created right here. And that's all I wanted to do right there. Is just that. Okay, so just wanted to actually do that. So now, if you guys could be so kind, just click on that link real quick.
Hold on. Where do I get the link?
I just put it here in the chat for everyone here in the chat on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I see Paul went through it already, so now I can see here's 2 people, right, who have actually done this. And that's fine. 2 people is enough. I mean, if you guys all want to do it, that's fine. So now, I'm trying to see how we could actually automate all of this. But who cares? Let's go in. We don't have to automate all of it. So here, what we could do is just go in, and now we want to create a new Zap. And this is going to be Google Sheets. This is going to be actually Google Sheets. So whenever we have an updated spreadsheet row, and then here we just want to check this random value is all we want to check. So now, essentially what you could do though, okay, is we could create some content here. All right, we could go in and actually create some content, just like this content, all right, that we're calling Job Portal. And in here, you could go in and update this content whenever you get some message from your advertiser. So this is just going to be the message from advertiser, or in your case, it's actually some job posting, it seems like, right?
Robert.
I'm sorry, what's that? I'm not sure. Were you talking to us or not? Okay, well, I don't think he was talking to us. So are you following me here? Here, Christoph, you could go in, and then this could just be something that you update whenever that advertiser gives you the new job or whatever. So here you can get feedback right here.
Sure.
Here you can get feedback right here. Okay, so here you can get some feedback, and from here we could just go to an action group. Let's say we want to do, for purposes of this demo, we're just going to give one action, right? And that action could just be notify admins, and that's done. Okay, so now let me go back in and click this link myself so that I can get added to this sheet. Okay, so now I should be on this sheet as well. So now we've got our content, all right, called Job Portal. So now I can come over here, set up this step. And I'm going to send content to a user from this demo bot. And then my user is going to be, like always, a custom value. This time, though, he's going to be coming from that Google Sheet, from that ManyChat ID. My content is going to be that job portal content that I just created. Now, like I said, remember what we're doing is we're simulating a ManyChat broadcast. So let's see that in our dashboard. All right, so here's that zap right there. This guy's going to run every 5 minutes. So now what we would do if we want to do our broadcast, remember, like I said, this is this here is all of our copywriters, let's say. That job portal content, we would call that copywriter content.
Yeah.
So now what I would do is just something like this. I'll change that first one, and then I'll just go in and grab this, all the way down to, let's say, here, this is just taking me a few seconds, right? But here I've just did 368 subscribers, right? So now I just broadcasted this out to 368 subscribers. So now, instead of waiting for this to happen automatically, we'll just go in and force this to run, and we'll see that this is going to run. Now this is actually holding. So now what that actually means is I should get an email from Zapier that is going to actually say, hey, did you actually want to run this Zap? Because it seems like I shouldn't be running it. So let's just tell them.
Okay. But overall, what you say, it is not possible to send through Zapier, say 200 messages to 200 different people with one content.
Not unless you do it like I'm doing it.
Okay. And this would classify under the broadcast in the ManyChat, yeah?
Correct.
Okay.
So they really.
So the ManyChat is there that the user enters, gets some information. That's basically it. So it's not that message gets spread around.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So now if you look what I just did, all right. Now if you look what I just did is I just sent that out to all you guys. Okay. So any of you guys that actually went through and clicked that ref link, then I can come in now and run this guy. And he just ran on 4 subscribers. So one failed because it's actually missing. He's missing a guy. So.
Okay. But then can it go the other way around? If I have a subscriber to a bot and he goes there and says, any new job for me today, then he can receive the briefs as many times as he wants, yeah?
Yeah, yes, but in that point you would need essentially a Zap for each user. So the only other way that I could actually think of it is the only other way that I could really think that you could do it is with a call to action from the user. So you could have a sequence. You could go in and actually create a sequence, right? So you could come in here, create some sequence. And what this sequence would be is literally you would just go in and create this sequence, and every day you would send the same content. And that content would just be, would you like to see a new job post for today? Yes or no? Now they hit yes. And what that would do is literally fire off a zap that would go to your spreadsheet, get that job post, the most recent job post from your advertiser, and then send that back out to the ManyChat user now, or send that back out to the bot user, right? So now these guys are on a sequence, and then every day you literally just send them out the same content that says, would you like to see a new job post for today, or do you want to see a sponsored job post for today? Yes or no? They hit yes. That triggers the actual zap that goes out, grabs a new job post. And from there, it could be relatively simple, because from there, now that guy's already tagged right now, but you do need that call to action from the user. Now that guy's already tagged. So you could go in and have one spreadsheet, and inside that spreadsheet, what you would have in that spreadsheet would basically just be a position, let's say a position or a job type, right? And then an ad. So now you could go in, and here is where you would have a copywriter.
Yeah.
Right? Here you would have an engineer.
Yeah.
All right. So now here would be my ad for this guy. Job link for this guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then here you would be updating as you get those new ads. You just go in and say, okay, hey, here's an ad for a copywriter. Here's an ad for an engineer. All right. So now what your flow would look like is you would have some actual sequence. You would have some sequence where every day, like I said, you send the exact same message out every single day, where you just say, hey, do you want to see a new job post for today? They hit yes. That fires your zap. What would your zap do? Your zap would go in and say, hey, look up from this spreadsheet where and find whatever they're tagged as. So now they've already been tagged. They've tagged themselves that, hey, I'm a copywriter. Hey, I'm an engineer, right? That you would put in as a custom field attached to your user. And then you'd have when you do your intake, right, you've got some input in your intake that says, what type of job are you looking for? And it's got a couple options, copywriter, and then you can actually have one that's none of these. So because you're limited to so many different answers in your input. So now they go through that process, right? They basically fill in their own custom field as far as what type of job that they're looking for. In this scenario, either copywriter or engineer. So now after they've done that, you've let's say maybe you've asked them, do you want to receive new jobs every day, or how often do you want to receive new jobs, right? So now they've put in how often they want to get those jobs, whether it's every day or twice a day or bi-weekly or whatever. So that's up to them. So now they go through that flow, and now you tag them. And basically at that point, you don't have to tag them. At that point, you would go in and decide what sequence that they would be on. Because let's say you have 4 different sequences, because one person wants to get new jobs daily. One person wants it, bi-weekly. One person wants it once a week. One person wants it once a month, right? So now you put them on, now they pick which one, now you put them on that sequence. That sequence just sends them the same thing every day. Would you like to see today's job post? Yes or no? They hit yes, and then it fires off your zap. That basically your zap goes out and says, hey, look up the row that is equal to user's position, right? Now you've got a user that said yes, and that user has a position value in a custom field, and it's set to copywriter. So now your Zap will go in and find this row copywriter, and then you just send this back out to the actual user.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And that could automate a lot of it now, because that could automate a lot of it now, and that could automate a lot of it now because you're relying on that user input. So as long as that user gives you that input, then you're golden pretty much. So now if the user doesn't give you that input, then it really, in my opinion, if the user doesn't give you that input, then you're in the same position anyways, right? Because if he doesn't give you that input, it's because he didn't check his message, he didn't want the job, he didn't care about it. So even if you would have broadcasted him out a job link, the same guy, he wouldn't have looked at the message, he wouldn't have actually seen it because he didn't see the first message to ask him if he wants the job. So if he's actually going to consume your content and want your content, then you could rely on that input from him whenever you send him out the same daily broadcast, just asking him, hey, do you want to get a job today?
Okay. But the key is what I realized from you, that you can't send mass messages to many people.
Only like this.
No.
Now you guys all must have got this message, right? Actually, I don't think I even got that message. So I don't think I even got that message. And that's because all of these that's because none of those actually went. So now if I was to actually go back to this row, change this to a 3, and then change that to a 3. Now if I were to actually come back to this Zap and come in here and then go back to this broadcast simulation and run that guy, then I still didn't actually get that. I still didn't actually get that. I still didn't get that message. I should have got that message already. I would have definitely assumed I should have got that message already. And I can see you other guys got it, right? I can see right here that these other guys actually did get that message. So that's went out. So that is essentially how you could simulate a broadcast. If you want to simulate a broadcast, you can do something just like I did here, which will then go in and actually simulate a broadcast. Now there's a little bit of overhead time, obviously, and but it doesn't take too long to go down through all these guys right here and then just update them. That doesn't take hardly any time at all to go in and do that. So that's the only way that you can simulate a broadcast, until the guys at ManyChat go in and add that. And they will add that. I'll guarantee they'll add that, because they'll see all my training videos with everybody asking for that. They'll realize the need. And plus they ask me at least once a week, what new features can they build me? What else do they want? Because they're really so supportive, and they really want to build a tool that is the most useful for everybody. So I know that they'll add that in there. Just it's a matter of when they'll fit it in their actual schedule. But we can work around it until then just by doing this sequence.
Mm-hmm.
So what else? Anybody else have something that they want to go over, something that they want to actually talk about? So it usually works best if you guys tell me what you want me to do, tell me what you need help with, what you want to see, and then I can go in and do that stuff. That's the best way that it works, and that's how I always do my training. So I don't actually come in and have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you all these things that won't actually be useful to you or your bot or your situation. So what I do is I'll first just want to get from you, what do you want to see? What can't you do? What are you trying to do? What do you want to do? And then we'll go in and do that, just like we've done some of these other ones where we've done them right in front of you, or we've walked through at least the explanation of how you could actually accomplish that. So that means pretty much the training gets kind of put on hold until you guys tell me what you want to do next, because I've already done what you wanted to do so far. So don't be shy, guys. What else can I show you how to do? There's nothing else that you guys need help with? You guys must need help with something else, I'm sure of it, or you wouldn't be coming to the live training. So what else do you want me to show you? But if you guys don't have anything else that you want to see, we can hop off this training session. I'll start one again later if there's nothing else that you guys want to go over right now. So if you have something else,
John, anyway, thank you very much. I mean, for me.
Yeah, no problem. If anybody else has anything, just let me know. We'll go over it. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Kim, did you have something that you wanted to go over? Tim, what about you? Did you have something you wanted to go over, Tim? But it seems like no. It seems like no one else has anything that they want to learn right now. So I do run a company with 30 engineers on staff. So my time's pretty valuable, and I'm agreeing to give it to you guys for free. So if you guys don't want to go over anything and don't want to see anything, then there's really not a big point for us to be on the training right now if no one wants to go over anything. So I am going to run some more training sessions, and you guys are more than welcome to join them and ask at that time. So since no one has anything else, we'll just kind of end this one, and I will see you guys later, okay?